everyone, welcome to my channel Creatively Expressive. My name is Amy and today I will be showing you how to create this sweet watercolor bunny picture using acrylic paints. This is a super simple way to create your own art. So even if you have never painted before, I think you'll be able to recreate this project. Now let's get started. I'm going to be starting with this sign that I made for Valentine's Day. It's super cute, but I make a lot of stuff and I can't keep everything. So today I'm going to reuse this for Easter decor. First, I am removing the vinyl wording from the sign. Then I went to Etsy and I found these sweet bunny SVG files. I decided to use this bunny and I cut 2 of them out. For one, I weeded out the lines, and on the second I left the lines and weeded out the big pieces surrounding the lines. Now I'm going to cut a piece of transfer tape and stick it to the top of the bunny with the lines weeded out. I place a piece of parchment paper on the back of the stencil, covering all of it but a small portion at the top. And I am going to place it on my sign. Once I have the stencil where I want it, I press the top portion down to the stencil so that it is stuck in place. Then I'll start pulling the parchment paper out from behind the stencil until I have the entire stencil stuck to the sign. When the stencil is stuck to the sign, I will remove the transfer tape. Now I'm going to be using the paint colors Moss by Waverly, Cameo Pink by Apple Barrel, and Coffee Bean by Folk Art. I'm going to put a little of each color into a plastic cup, and then I water each color down quite a bit. Now I'm going to take a fine detail paintbrush and dip it into the brown watercolor. I wipe off some of the excess paint on the inside of the cup so that the brush is not too wet. Then I'm going to use the brown color to outline the bunny. And I am focusing the paint towards the inner portion of the lines on my stencil. I am applying the paint pretty lightly because I am just trying to get the outline of the bunny at this point. I'll use the pink watercolor to outline the inner part of the ear and the flower. Then I'll use the green watercolor to outline the flower stem and the leaves. Once I have the bunny outlined, I will remove the stencil. And at this point, I realized that I forgot to outline a couple of the leaves. Fortunately though, I realized my mistake before I peeled off that portion of the stencil. So I was able to outline those leaves before removing the rest of the stencil. The stencil peeled up a bit of the white paint on my sign, so now I'm going to touch up those spots with the small paintbrush and some white paint. Now I'm going to get some brown watercolor paint on a small paintbrush and I start painting along the outline of the bunny. Then I use some water on my paintbrush to blend the watercolor out. I'll continue to apply the brown watercolor along the lines of the bunny, and then I use water to blend the watercolor out towards the center of the bunny. I want the brown to be the darkest along the edges of the bunny and then gradually get lighter as it gets towards the center. And you don't have to be a skilled painter to do this. You literally just apply paint on the edges of the outlines, dip your paintbrush in water, and then rub it over the paint working towards the center of the bunny. This will make the paint gradually get lighter and lighter. Now I'm going to start adding in the pink color. The pink was a little too watered down, so I just added a bit more pink paint to it. And at this point, I decided to use some unwatered down paint to darken up the edges of the bunny even more. I dip my brush into the unwatered down paint, dip it into the water, and then add it to the edges of the bunny. I also use it to add fur texture to the bunny's ear where it meets the inner ear. Then I just continue to fill in the rest of the bunny's body, playing with the paint until I'm happy with the look. Then I'll fill in the flower with the pink watercolor. I felt like I made the tail a little too dark, so now I'm going to add a bit of white paint to it. I added a bit of red apple paint to the pink watercolor to try to darken it up. Then I added some of the red apple color and also this cranberry color to a paper plate. I'm trying to darken up the outer edges of the inner ear with those colors. And during this whole process, I'm just playing with the colors and experimenting. Now I want to do the same thing with the light pink flower, focusing the darker color at the bottom of the flower. Next, I'm going to use my green watercolor to fill in the leaves. Then I'll dip my brush into some unwatered down green paint to darken up the outer edges of the leaves. Then on a whim, I decided to try adding some grass. At first I thought it was looking cute. Then because I can't leave well enough alone, I added some more. Then I started getting worried and I thought it looked weird. So then I decided to add a larger patch of grass so that the little patches didn't look like they were just floating. I wasn't sure about the grass and I was thinking about painting white over it, but my husband assured me that it looked good, so I decided to just leave it. Let me know what you guys would have done. I added a bit more brown to the ears. Then some more grass, and then finally told myself to stop and walk away. I let this dry, and now I'm going to add the bunny decal with the outlines that I cut earlier. I'll put the decal on top of some parchment paper so I can get it placed correctly over my painting. Then I get it placed the best I can over the painting. And this doesn't have to be perfect because if you've ever looked at watercolor paintings, you'll notice that if they have outlines, they don't match up perfectly with the edges of the watercolor. And this is the fun thing about watercolor. They are slightly messy and whimsical, which I really enjoy. So I get the outline decal adhered to my painting and then I'll remove the transfer tape. Now the only thing left to do is put the frame back on the picture and this fun little whimsical painting is complete. This would be a great decor piece for not just Easter but also spring. I also think this would be a super sweet decor piece for a child's room or nursery. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope it was helpful to you. If you liked today's video, some easy and completely free ways to help support my channel are to subscribe if you haven't already, give me a thumbs up, leave me a quick comment or even just an emoji, and share this video with anyone you think might enjoy it. I truly appreciate your support and I hope you guys have a great day and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!